Hello guys, we had just a little bit of technical issue, but here we are again. Today we have a guest from Argentina, Ludo drama, Patricia Arbona from Argentina, talented, creative teacher, who we have a lot of questions to. So Patricia will be joining me, and I will introduce to you Patricia. She is a teacher from Argentina. She is the founder of Ludo Drama, which is a group of teachers whose main concern is to improve the quality of education. Go. She is the creator of a radio program called Sharing Teaching Experience. Hello, Patricia. Hello, dear.
Oh, how are you?
How are you?
Fine.
How are you? I'm so happy
Fine,
to
fine.
see
I'm very
you.
glad to be. I'm very pleased to be here with you today.
Thank you.
Sorry for the connection problems.
Yeah, that might be from our side as well, because we have quite a distance between us.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Well, fortunately, we are together.
Brilliant. Patricia is an independent researcher who is exploring ELF pedagogy and active learning. She's a conductor of experimental work on teaching, learning at home and abroad. She's a language and drama teacher, trainer, and conference speaker in the field of education in both languages of Spanish and English. And she is giving online classes on communication skills and drama to trainee teachers. How many achievements, Patricia! It's a great honor for us that you are our guest. We have so many questions to you.
Okay, I hope that we will have time enough
We have
to finish everything.
I have as much time as it requires, so I will be listening to you till the end, because we are really interested in all of the questions, you know. And of course, the first one I would like to ask is about Ludo drama. What is it?
Okay.
And what are the main principles of using drama?
Okay. Ludodrama is a group I founded because I wanted to spread the word and like to say the benefits that drama provides in the process of learning. Well, I started creating plays with a group of teachers. It was an educational theater, and there I realized how interested the students were when they were able to watch something performed by their own teachers. Of course, afterwards, there was a set of activities that were given to the students, and well, they enjoyed what they did greatly. Gradually, I started having different talks with teachers in order to tell them how this should be done, and through time, it became Spanish and English, because teachers from other areas wanted to know what I was doing in order to catch the attention of the students. Because I always say that the attentions should not be asked. It is gained. If I say, okay, sit down and pay attention. Suppose that you are my student. I say, okay, Olga, sit down and pay attention. And what I'm going to say is important. Oh my God, you get blocked immediately. So this is not the way. And usually we start by saying, sit down, good morning, sit down, open your book. That's the way, that's the way. Well, I think that if we start reflecting on what we are doing, well, we are asking for silence, and the students are not prepared for that yet. We need to create a specific, a real environment for the process of teaching. And this is provided by drama. So if you start in a different way, the responses on the part of the students will be completely different, because they do not learn when I want to teach them. They learn when they are emotionally prepared. Sometimes I say,
how exactly do you emotionally prepare them?
of course. Well, how do I prepare them?
Yeah.
Well, what I do is in the first 5, 8, no more than 10 minutes, I give them special activities. For example, you may start using music. This is the simplest way. But I prefer to use breathing exercises or gentle physical activities. For example, children love brain gym exercises or coordination exercises. And in this way, their brain gets alert, and indirectly, they get prepared for the process of learning. And whenever, for one reason or another, I cannot start with this because we have already wasted some minutes doing something else, because the headmaster has come and has asked me some questions, so the time devoted to them was devoted to the headmaster. Well, today, no preparation. They asked for it. So when they ask for that, this means that what I'm doing is effective. So I think that the best judge is the student, because the headmaster can come and observe my classes once a month or twice a year, but I don't think that is enough. If I want to know if I'm really teaching well, I need to ask my students, especially children, because children always tell the truth. They always tell the truth.
What are the ages of the students with whom you apply drama during the lessons? When to start?
All levels, all levels, all levels. Even as students at the professorado, for example, the online course I'm having at the moment is made up of students who are studying at college. So it may be any age, any level. The thing is that in the type of education we are having, at least here in Argentina, and I think that is common in other countries, is that, for example, drama and play is restricted to the initial level. Then in primary level, it is present, but gradually it vanishes. And then if you propose, for example, I have proposed drama to secondary teachers from secondary schools, and they say, no, thank you, we are working with teenagers. Well, precisely because you are working with teenagers, they need to be active. And drama is precisely the tool to keep them active. And they prefer not to use it because they think that technology is much better. But the problem is that technology is something that is at home permanently with the students. Drama is not present if it is not offered.
Sure.
So this is the difference.
Sure.
So the idea is that I need to convince teachers, my colleagues, that drama, the difference between technology and drama, well, both of them are important, but the emotional connection that I create with drama is unique. Absolutely. I don't think that there is another tool, another resource that can establish this sort of relationship. That's why I love it, because of the results that I get.
They should be impressive, of course.
Yes.
And you know,
yes,
Patricia, recently we had the course with SR Teaching and Learning about drama by Paul Harvey, and some of our teachers who participated in this course know some particular activities, and they are aware how to apply drama, which is recommended by Paul Harvey. And of course, we would like to know, how do you apply drama? What are the principles? Like, how do you build a lesson? What kind of activities exactly do you use?
Well, the thing is that drama is a resource. Drama is not part of the whole lesson because, of course, first, I need to introduce the new content or whatever I want to introduce to my students. The thing is that the main function of drama is to consolidate knowledge. Once the students are familiar with the content, then they can work freely. They are independent to be able to create what they want to do with that new content. I always say that content that is not applied is content that is not learned. Normally, to the practical part in the process of learning is ignored. You know that I don't know if in Poland you are still using the traditional method.
Well, in some institutions, of course.
It is present. Well, the idea is all my preach is devoted to leave behind this type of methodology, because we know that it's not working any longer. It is anachronic. What we need to do is to implement active learning through alternative methodologies, which provide this type of activities. Well, I have selected ludic and drama activities because I know that both of them have active participations for the students. And I know, because from experience, I know that they are beneficial for them because I can see the results, their progress. Something else that I use in the activities is metacognition. Metacognition is something that is forgotten. Metacognition should be present not only in the classroom, but between colleagues. We need to reflect on our own work in order to improve what we are doing. Sometimes we work individually because we have little time to get together. But I think that we need to get together because it is the only way of sharing teaching experiences and improve ourselves. So in the same way that we use metacognitive strategies with our colleagues, well, we should teach them how to use them in order to reflect on their own learning and to find weaknesses and strengths so that they can work on those which are weakened. And my responsibility is to give them the necessary tools to go on improving. And when they see that they are able to improve by themselves, well, they feel that they can. We should tell them always that they are very capable, very capable. So if they are capable, this means that they will become autonomous. It is a matter of time. And our ultimate aim is to help them become autonomous. I always say that when a teacher listens to her students, undoubtedly she will be able to improve her teaching. Why? Because I'm paying attention to the needs of the students.
Yes.
If I have 40 students, I know that it's difficult to know them individually. But I have had courses with 60 students in which I had to teach them phonetics because I also specialize in phonetics. So it's difficult to know them all. Well, it takes time, but it is impossible to work with students if you don't know who they are. We need to pay attention to that. Once we are able to see the type of group we are having, well, we can implement the type of activities that I know that are suitable for them.
Right.
So what I was saying, probably when the connection disappeared, I was talking about the components of a good activity. I don't know if you were listened to that. Did you listen to that? The components of a good activity.
Would you please repeat for our audience?
Yes, that's why I'm asking you. Well, whenever I select an activity, there are at least 5 elements that should be present in order to ensure that it will be successful. Mm-hmm. First of all, it provides a contextualized setting so that the students know that what they are doing is meaningful. That's why repetition or repeating a summary of a story they have read by heart is not important. This is not learning. And today, this is still present. So I'm against this type of memory, because memory should be selective, because memory is necessary in order to retain information. But when it is a repetition like a parrot, this is not learning, because this information flies away after a few days. If we today ask our students something about what they had in the last examination, probably they will be able to remember very little, because nowadays students study to pass an examination. They do not study for learning, but it is not their fault. It is ours. It is the system fault. Why? Because the system is still depending on a mark, and when we depend on a mark, we make them competitive. And the idea is not to make them competitive. The idea is to help them to work together, because we have said that learning is a social act. I cannot learn individually, and this is something that is indicated by the traditional method. You know, all children seated at their desk listening to their teachers. This is not learning. This is the way I learned. This is the way my daughters learned, and it is still the way that is present nowadays.
Even
And
today.
sometimes even today, and whenever I offer my drama techniques and all that, many teachers say, no, thank you. No, thank you. We prefer to go, well, they don't say we prefer to go in the way we have been doing for ages. No, thank you. They prefer to ignore the benefits of drama. Well, I
Well,
say goodbye.
I
Thank
may
you very
say
much.
maybe they are afraid that it will cause a little bit of distraction for students, that it will be a bit difficult to organize, you know, but because once you give them a little bit of freedom, they become like very excited, and then you cannot, maybe this is what they are afraid of. What would
Well,
you tell them?
the thing is that we have two different types of noise in the classrooms. Sometimes the students may be noisy because they are not interested, but when they are noisy, when they are working together, this is a pleasant noise because it is a murmuring, because they are thinking and they are organizing their ideas. So if we know how to organize the class and we give them specific rules, I think that we will be successful. The thing
Absolutely.
is that we shouldn't be afraid. We should try. If we say no from the beginning without knowing what we can do with this new type of activity, we'll never know. And we will never give the students the opportunity to experiment with language. I always say that we are responsible for creating a laboratory in the classroom. The classroom should be a laboratory where the students experiment with knowledge. And there is a lot of trial and error. And errors are part of the process. The students sometimes are afraid of committing mistakes. Why? Because they are punished.
Yeah.
And besides,
By the grades, by the
when
way.
by the grades, yes. When sometimes they do not want to participate in class because they are afraid of committing mistakes, or they are afraid of being laughed at by their peers. And probably they are good students and they want to participate, but the mistakes, as they know that if they commit mistakes, they are punished, they prefer to remain silent. And they are losing good opportunities of practicing the language.
That's
So
true.
again, it is our responsibility to create a pleasant atmosphere that should be unthreatening and invite the students to speak, even if we are presenting something new. Okay, what is your opinion? The thing is that the students should not remain seated listening to me. I don't want that type of class anymore. I used to be like that when I started teaching, but gradually I realized that that type of class was not enough for me, and the students realized when I presented something different, well, that is different. That is what we like. Now we are in the process of transformation, and students have the opportunity to see teachers who are innovating and teachers who are still traditional. Well, they choose. And normally, what do they choose? Those teachers who make them participate.
Yes.
So this means that those who are working on transforming education are right. We need to change this type of education. Piaget once said, teachers are responsible for teaching their students to love what they learn.
Yes.
Well, if we want them to love what they learn, we should show them that we love what we do.
Exactly.
We need to show them our passion. If I remain seated at my desk, I say, okay, you write the answer on the board, you open the book, you please do this or that. No, it's not like that.
Waiting for the
I'm
lesson
always
to
moving in
end.
my class. Yes, of course. And when the bell rings, they disappear immediately because they need fresh air, a different type of air. Mm? And students know the type of teachers they have and may say, oh, now Olga is coming. How nice. She's so great because of the activity she gave us. And after Olga, Patricia comes. How boring she is. My God, I want to leave her classes. But the thing is that it is important then to listen to our students, because in that way their feedback is important, because no doubt that they will help us to modify our teachings and become better
Patricia, I'm
educators.
sure that anyone who will be watching our interview in the recording will at this moment be already so much inspired that will want open the apply drama like the very next day. Could you please give us,
Sorry.
no worries, could you please give us the advice just several pieces, how to apply drama already tomorrow, what to start with?
There is something, the message that I always give, and I love this type of message because for me it is emotional. I think that if a teacher, listen to this, and then you and all the teachers who are listening will reflect on this. If a teacher becomes the discoverer of talents and the students become explorers of knowledge, the classroom naturally becomes a laboratory where they experiment with content knowledge. And in this way, a pleasant atmosphere is created, which is inviting to learn, which is inviting to teach. That's why it is a pleasure to teach when you have this type of classes. I never get bored.
That's right.
When the bell rings, I want to go on teaching because it is a pleasure the way they are connected. Of course, they need a break and we finish the class. But this is the idea. When you are passionate and when you have a strong vocation and you see the results, well, this is what is important. When you see the results, the benefits. And I can see, I have been working with drama for ages, and now I can tell you, that's why now I give talks trying to convince teachers of these benefits. Once you start using drama, it will be your permanent friend. You will inseparable. You will be inseparable.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that because this is what I know.
Absolutely.
Well, what else? Well, I hope that after this chat, many teachers will join drama and feel comfortable teaching it.
I'm sure. I'm sure in it.
Yes.
Do you
great
have more time, Pat, or do you need to finish?
Yes, of course.
You have.
No, of course. I'm so pleased to be here.
Thank you. So, of course, we would like even to ask about the radio program. We want to know what it is.
Yes.
How to participate? Who can join?
Okay. Well, of course, the program is in Spanish, and there are two types of guests: educators and recent graduate students, because they also are very important. Educators, of course, the educators that are invited are already implementing different types of new learning and teaching. And their views and proposals are an opportunity to rethink our own teaching practices. For example, they are highly qualified to do two important actions. First, to promote innovation. Then, to show the results they are obtaining with their students, because it is a proof that what they are doing is correct. And finally, to expand the process of change to those institutions in which innovation has been implemented in a weak way. If their staff recognize that a new model of school is emerging, we will be able to get together, because this is done if we are together. This transformation can be completed if we work together. So more people, more students will be involved in this process of learning. Why? Because union makes strength, and when we are together, the process is accelerated, and the more the better. So what we need at the moment, there are many teachers that are working very hard in order to transform education, but we need that this transformation should become generalized. So every single time we get together, or when I give a talk, I always invite teachers to become part of this movement so as to accelerate. And there is no doubt that the crisis we are living at the moment has accelerated the process of, in education. Why? Because we are not the same teacher we used to be before this pandemic started. And there is no doubt that when we go back to school, we are not going to teach in the same way we used to teach. And if we go on teaching in the same way, well, we are having a problem, I think. We cannot, because with this lockdown we are undergoing, we have had to learn many things in a very short time. So we have had an intense activity trying to reconvert ourselves because we were not used to working online all the time. And today it is the only possibility. So we should thank ourselves for all the effort we are making in trying to give the students what they really need. Of course, the physical classroom will never be replaced. Of course not. But at least we try to be together and to do the best we can.
Absolutely. And what kind of feedback do you get after the radio program, like each and every? What does your audience say? Do they get some insights? How do you connect with them?
Yes. I will receive messages. Yes, after I leave, then the secretary sends them to me, because what the educators do is invite teachers to visit their schools and to experience what they are doing. No problem. So the schools open their doors in order to show what they are really doing. And besides, I have said that I also invite students, recent graduate students. This is very important because for me, students are the most important element we have in teaching. We teach because they are there. Imagine having no students. What would we do without them? So I need to take care of them. They are precious for me. Well, and I think that they should be given a voice, because it is important to listen to their opinions in education. And besides, they are invited because they can tell us about the instruction they received at college or at university. So in this way, they become part of this transformation period, and at the same time, we can improve our practices, because it is important that when something is occurring in the classroom that is not working, the students should. I always invite the students this is metacognition also, when we start reflecting on our own activities. We get together. When we get together, it is a special and a precious time, because this is a way of improving on both sides, teaching and learning. So for me, also metacognition is the element of innovation. Without metacognition, we cannot become critical observers of our own practices. And at the same time, I invite my students to be critical observers of their own learning.
Sure.
So we are progressing together at the same time.
Patricia, you have a lot of bravos in the chat box.
Well.
Of course.
Well, okay, thank you very much.
And of course, I mentioned that you conduct experimental work in teaching and learning. Could you please tell us a bit about it? What kind of experiments and what are the recent outcomes?
My experimental work. Well, yes, I started this several years ago. I do experimental work here in Argentina and abroad. Fortunately, I have close connection with different institutions and teachers in different parts of the world. And whenever I go abroad, I visit institutions and have meetings with teachers, and I exchange, we exchange different types of teaching and learning. We share experiences, and we grow together. Of course, when I come back to my country, I come back here, I meet my colleagues, and everything I have experienced and all the lessons I have learned are discussed together, because the idea is to bring information from abroad and to enrich ourselves, because one of the most important principles in this world of teaching and world of education is to remain together. We need to share and to learn together. That's the only way. I cannot say, well, I want to teach today. No, because I'm sure that even if I may be delivering a talk to colleagues, I'm also teaching. We are teaching all together. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to exchange experiences and to enrich one another. So this is my mission here on the earth.
Of course. Oh, I hope after pandemic you will be able to travel a lot again, because sharing
I
is caring.
hope,
This is what
yes,
we
yes.
believe in, and I hope we will be able to meet in one of the spots on this planet.
Yes, oh, it will be great.
Of course.
My last trip was last September. I was in England and in Scotland, and well, I had a wonderful experience. And the best was when I had the opportunity to be in a multicultural class.
Yeah.
This is something that does not exist in my country because our classes are monolingual. And I'm also investigating teaching English as an international language. For me, it was great because I could experience how the students work with a variety of accents within the classroom. Well, it was really magic because all the students were communicating with one another using a language whose mother tongue was not English. So it was especially difficult for them to communicate one another, but they managed. In our case, in Argentina, this we haven't got. Probably you have got multilingual classes. Have you got that type of classes,
Uh,
multilingual? Or all
it
of you are Polish?
it may happen. Multicultural classes can happen only like in private schools, you know,
Ah,
mostly.
well,
But
claro. No, not here in Argentina.
yeah, I'm not saying that it is not possible. Yeah, here there are a lot of nationalities in Poland.
Well, the thing is that here in Argentina, normally we have monolingual classes.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we need to teach English as a lingua franca, the only possibility of exposure is through recorded material. Mm? So, but for me, it was a wonderful experience because children could communicate freely, easily, one another, telling their experiences while they were in class or during the break. Unique experience for me.
Absolutely, of course. I would like just to remind our audience that, guys, you can ask Patricia some questions if you wish, because I have my next one, of course, about ELF. Because Patricia, not everyone, I think, would in the very first seconds understand what is ELF, and then they would come up with an idea that this is lingua franca. Could you please
Yes.
share the main principles of it and how you also approach lingua franca?
Okay. Well, through my contacts abroad, I was able to enlarge my knowledge connected with ELF, with English as a lingua franca. We know that English is no longer the property of English speakers, it belongs to the world. So this indicates that we need to redirect our teaching aims. English should not be taught in the way that it has been teaching for ages. Today, we cannot say that we should follow a model, but still, here in Argentina at least, some students still are asked to follow a particular model, RP or General American, and they are taught in a fantasy land because if they go abroad, they will have to communicate internationally. They won't meet native speakers because if we pay attention to the number of speakers who are using English at the moment, even if we go to London, for example, and we walk along the streets, we will find people from different parts of the country and
Absolutely.
different parts of the world.
Right.
And we will have to use our own accent, the local accent, and we have to understand internationally. So I may meet a person who speaks Italian English or French English or Polish English. So I need to sharpen my ear. So now we have changed our aims. How are we going to teach English that now is used internationally? So that fantasy land has vanished. What I need to do now is to give the students the necessary tools to be able to understand English around the world. How? Well, what are the important features? Now pronunciation has become the most important component in the teaching.
That's
For
right.
example, here in Argentina, the pronunciation is taught together with the rest. It is like a process of osmosis. It is never given a systematic place. Of course, if you are studying to become a teacher at a training college, of course, a lot of theoretical information is given. But if you want to learn English just because you want to communicate abroad, well, pronunciation is not something that is given a systematic place.
Mm-mm.
Now, pronunciation is the most important. And when I speak of pronunciation, pronunciation is made up of listening and speaking. Normally, when we ask, what is pronunciation for you? Everybody says, sounds. Not just sounds. It is both speaking and listening. And when we teach English, normally we concentrate on speaking and we forget about listening. And listening is as important as speaking. And if we pay attention to the way listening is used, listening is not taught, but you see that it is evaluated. And the type of evaluation that is given is usually the same. The students are given some recorded material, they listen to it, and then they need to answer some questions related to what they have listened to.
That's right.
Do you think that they are learning listening like that? No, because what is missing there? The strategies that they need in order to interpret what is present in the message that the speaker is saying. Normally they fail when they have this type of activity because as they know nothing about the strategies, they try to concentrate on every single word that is said. And in so doing, they fail because they cannot concentrate on every single word. So they need to teach them how to listen in the same way that we teach them how to speak. Something that is also missing in the type of teaching we are having is that teaching means listening not only to the words that are present in the message. We need to take into consideration the paralinguistic and nonverbal information that the speaker is providing, that sometimes is much more important than the words themselves. That is missing. Today, with English as a lingua franca, this is crucial because this type of information will help us to understand and be understood. If we pay attention to the tone of voice of the speaker, to the body language, the facial expressions that they are using, we'll be able to understand. Probably not everything, but we will manage.
That's
so
right.
This is what is called communicative competence. We need to teach our students communicative competence. That is to say, strategies to be able to understand and be understood. So
Genius.
they are able to. Well, that's the way. There is no other possibility. And the problem is that we are ignoring many important elements of pronunciation. And now that English has become international, we are really having problems if we are ignoring all the processes that have affected English. English is not the same that it used to be 10, 20 years ago. And we need to pay attention to that. And the thing is that today I see that English is taught in the same way that it was taught 30, 20, or 10 years ago. And we need to change that.
Language is developing and teaching is not so fast as language.
It's true. The thing is that it is comfortable for us if we repeat the same activities for different groups. We ask the students to prepare a summary and we mark them considering the written activities. This is something that is completely wrong at the moment. We insist on the writing. Last year, I did a survey with a group of teachers from different institutions, and one of the questions was, of the 4 macro abilities, which is the one that is most frequently used in your classroom? In your case, you tell me, in Poland, what is the most frequently of the macro activities? Reading, writing, speaking, and listening. In the classroom only.
Speaking, I would say. Speaking is taking the most attention.
Okay, here it is writing. Most of the answers were writing. Why? Because we focus on grammar.
Mm-hmm.
We want our students to speak perfectly well, and we do not want perfect writers or perfect speakers. We need effective communicators. Because today, if I commit a mistake in grammar, I will be understood all the same. For example, if I say right now, sorry, Olga, I don't want nothing. Do you understand? I don't want nothing.
Yeah, I understand what you want to say.
The problem is, of course, you immediately detect that I have made a mistake in grammar, but you have understood. But now if I say, agua al borrar, you say, what?
Sorry.
Agua al borrar. Russ, what is it? Russ, party, shop. The other person may say, ah, you mean a dress. Ah, you mean a dress for a party. Yes, shop, shop. Oh, yes, now I get it. You want to go and shop to buy a dress for a party. Yes. Can you give me, well, now directions. So I give the person directions. Well, so a pronunciation mistake today is much more important than a grammar mistake, because I can communicate all the same if I say, I go to the cinema yesterday. You understand all the same.
I
I have not
understand.
used the
Right.
past to reply. You see? Well, the thing is that the system is taught in the same way, because students need to know how the language works. They need to know about the system of sounds, grammar, vocabulary, everything. The more they know, the better they will be able to understand and be understood. But if they commit a mistake, it's not a serious problem. That's why they should be allowed to be committed. They are part of the process. But what we need to reduce is accuracy. Accuracy should be replaced by fluency. We need fluent students. And when we insist on accuracy, we are depriving the students the opportunity to speak, because don't commit mistakes. I'm paying attention to any mistakes you may commit. So I prefer not to talk. Okay, speak fluently. When for example, whenever we are having a conversation with a student, or say, tell me what you did yesterday. And he may say, well, yesterday I went to the supermarket and I buy some chocolate. Mm-hmm. So instead of saying, no, bought, because we immediately, our impulse is to correct them. Bought, well, say bought. The process of buy is bought. Mm-hmm. If we say something like that, we are interrupting the flow of thought of the poor learner.
Yeah.
He won't be able to go on. So what I can do is to say, oh, you bought a chocolate. Great. And what did you buy? Did you buy something else? And the student will say, well, I buy again. So, oh, you bought some cookies. Right. And what else? And then he may say, and I bought a Coke. There, he got it.
Bravo.
And I have not interrupted him. So we need to find the strategy in order to make him feel comfortable. If I say bought, okay, the process of buy is bought. Come on, say bought. Mm-hmm. Write it down, come on. No, the flow of thought disappears completely.
Why don't you know it by this time already? I told you.
Yes, how many times I have said that the process of buy is bought. Yes, it's true. Well, sometimes we become impatient because we want them to learn more quickly than we think. That's why it is important to teach, taking into consideration their brain. Sometimes we say, you don't understand. This is so easy. Come on. You can do it. So and they may say, please, teacher, please, Miss Pat, don't give us the test tomorrow. We are not prepared, really. I think that you should study. And it's not a question of studying if you don't understand. So we need to take into consideration their brain. For us, it's easy, but it's not easy for them. They need time. We can't learn something at once. We need time to digest information. And of course, as we have a diverse classroom, we need to give them time to digest information. And they should ask them when they are ready to go on improving or doing something else. So I always tell them that they are the owners of the class. I'm just a monitor. I'm here to guide them.
Facilitator.
But they should tell me when they are.
Somebody who
helps.
Yes,
we are a facilitator. Yes. If I want to give them a test when they are not ready, they will fail. And their failure is my failure. Mm-hmm. So I need to pay attention to their needs.
Of course.
Okay.
Patricia, thank you so much for all of the ideas. Oh my God, a lot of inspirations while talking to you. And probably,
well, I'm glad.
Probably at the end, what I would like to ask you, if you have like 1 minute talk to give your advice to the teachers who only begin their career as teachers, what would you advise them?
I think that the most important thing we should do before starting the process of teaching and learning is to create a special atmosphere. That is to say, I need to create a connection, a bond with my students. This is called rapport.
Right.
This feeling of understanding. When I feel that my students are ready, I may start doing what I have planned. Otherwise, it is better not to start. Why not? Because it is something that body language may tell you. Sometimes the students are communicating without saying words. Just their body language is transmitting information. That's why we need to be very good observers. This is one of the best things that we need to take into account when we start having a new group. Be observers. Be the type of students you are having at the moment, because you will have to share your classes during the year. We need to know them. This special atmosphere is created when I pay attention to one of my responsibilities as a teacher, to make them develop intrinsic motivation. If they are not intrinsically motivated, I won't be able to teach them what I want, and they won't be interested in learning. That's why an element of surprise should be present in the classroom, an element of surprise, every single class, just a sign on the blackboard. Pay attention to this, I'm coming back in a minute. What is it? Because curiosity is a characteristic of any human being. So curiosity is installed in the classroom. So their attention is open, and they are ready, and they are waiting for me to come to the classroom to tell them what it is about. And it is part of what I'm going to teach. So they are ready. As simple as that. I always say, for those who are already working for ages, and for those teachers who have just started, is that teaching is more than a job. I think that teaching is magic. It's full of magic.
Because you're a creator of souls.
Yes, of course, that's right. When you feel that every class is full of magic, well, I think that your mission has been fulfilled, and it makes you happy.
Beautiful, beautiful words. Again, you have a lot of bravos, applauses in the comments.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Patricia. It's, I don't want to end, because I hope
yes,
we'll be
because we're one speaking for ages.
Yes, I hope we will be able to meet again and, talk more, because we have even more questions. So I thank you very much for this session, and sorry for the internet troubles, but I'm glad we managed, and it was marvelous. Thank you.
Well, you know that they are part of every time we meet, connection problems are usually present. So the important thing is that we have been able to have a great talk together. Exactly. And I hope that it will be useful for all the audience that have been present today. Thank you very much for your invitation.
Thank you, Patricia.
And I'm here whenever you want, count on me. Okay.
We keep in touch, definitely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.